Do you ever wonder what happens at a Bitcoin conference? I did. Thanks to my channel sponsor and trusted US-based Bitcoin mining hardware supplier, Musk Miners, link in the description, they got me an industry pass to Bitcoin 2022 Miami to find out. Initially, I didn't know what to expect with this thing. I thought it would be a lot smaller, but holy crap. This annual conference is 500,000 square feet of exhibitor space. They have 4 separate presenter stages and a music festival. A bit of advice, if you're thinking about coming to one of these things, wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of walking. These boots were made for walking, but I don't think they're all the way broken yet. There were 3 echelons of passes you could buy to come to this event. General admission, which was $1,000. The industry pass, which gets you an extra day with all the companies and is $2,500. That's the pass we came on. And then the whale pass, which is $21,000. They have their own food court, which I wasn't allowed in, so I don't know what it was like. They get a golf cart to pick them up from their hotel. They have a nice little back lawn that they get to hang out in, except this is Miami and it's 90 degrees outside and generally miserable everywhere you go outside, and some other things. But this is a story about Industry Day, day 1. We were greeted with a long line of people waiting to get in, only to find out that we were in the exhibitor line and not the attendee line. So we walked around to the other side of the building with a couple hundred other people who were also in the wrong line, to be met with another long line. This whole time, it's just so hard to think about anything else other than every one of these heads is worth $2,500 to the company that put this on. We got in just in time to get to the Nakamoto stage to see Anthony Pompliano, who I was evidently supposed to be familiar with, but I wasn't, but I am now. I've been to some expos, I've been to some trade shows, but this stage was something else. The setup was incredible. Smoke machines, special effects lightings, the rigging had its own running lights that were moving around, huge screens everywhere, and a crowd in the thousands. Again, each who paid thousands sitting there watching the presentations. I was impressed. And the Whale Pass folks got their own poofy recliner chairs sitting up above the regular folks in the crowd. Nice flex, Whale Pass folks. Then it was on to the main exhibition hall. This place has a volcano, interesting. Bitmain was there with their new AntSpace HK3 container for the hydro miners. This whole thing is a dry cooler, my word. I came across quite a few immersion tank building companies, so I'll bet those will get cheaper this year through competition. That's good for the home miners. Included in those are our good buddies over at DCX, who had their own branded vodka, and with a pretty big booth, Gary Testa and Engineered Fluids.
Watch that guy.
Gary Testa.
That's the man. Here, give me
I need to get in there and get him to give up what sort of flexible tubing he's got running into this tank. Gary tells me they really are ready now with their 8-miner tanks. They're just waiting on shipping. Next, I had an empanada and a brownie. Upstream had a very impressive little magical black box. Granted, this is not a quiet room by any stretch, but I put my ear right up to the vent of this little box. And at least to my ears, the sound of a running ASIC is like a childhood memory at this point. And there was nothing. There was nothing. Nothing but comforting warm air. And when he opened up this magical end table size flight case, what do you know? There was 2 S9s screaming away inside. It has no added ventilation. It simply uses the fans from the miners to create the necessary air pressure to move the heat out of the system.
Right, so it's almost as if the ASIC is sitting outside of the box. That's the whole idea. But it's protected because it's inside of a waterproof, fire-resistant box, and the sound just goes away. That's the best thing.
The trick seems to be lots of turns combined with sound-insulating foam and a good seal at the top of the box. He's got the hot side thermally separated from the cold side with some sort of squishy foam, and that's it. I laid my hand on the body of the miner, and it was cool to the touch. Adam, the Upstream guy, tells me this box is completely waterproof, so you could run it in your backyard in the summertime, and in the winter, this thing could move into your basement and do a fine job of supplementing the heating of your house. There's no way to make less heat overall come out of a Bitcoin miner. It's like a pesky law of physics kind of thing. So you'd have a 6,000 watt space heater that produces about $1,000 a month or so, while almost certainly causing you to use less household heating. This is a cool project. They're selling these little game changers for $2,200. It does seem like a lot of money for some wood, some foam, some plastic, and some filters, but you'll be paying for all of the work that went in to figure this whole little scheme out, which I've seen quite a few people fail at on the internet. Some company called Bullish brought a mechanical bull. I watched people ride that bull, and I enjoyed that. Since I've been here, I've been approached by several of you who've seen me on YouTube before, and boy do I like that, turns out. I'm by no means big enough yet for that to happen in the normal real world, but in a world where everyone's a Bitcoin enthusiast mixed with a smattering of mining folks, well, evidently I'm among my people. So thank you, Fist Bump Guy, and the guy by the Quiet Box thing, and the bearded British but Minnesotan guy who we enjoyed pizza next to while you ate your edamame. Oh, and the GPU guy who knew the Musk miners through me, also at the pizza table. That pizza table. Oh, and hello, Alex, the mining middleman. Ooh, and the Power Strip PDU guy. Stay tuned for that video. And Asian guy. Good times for real. Finally, for the purposes of this recap, I attended the What's Miner M50 announcement at the mining stage. I think they did a fine job on the presentation. I'm a little surprised there wasn't an actual person there. They just played a video, but the production quality was fine, and it's nice to see this company keeping up. Looks like that M50 will be 126 terahash at 26 joules per terahash, which is a little less efficient than the Antminer S19 XP 140. That one slides in at 22 joules per terahash. Some napkin math means that the M50 will run on probably about 3,500 watts to hit 126 terahash. Still current gen numbers, but Bitmain is a little bit ahead. Man, 5 nanometer process chips for these though. That's like Apple M1 level chip engineering. I am impressed, or I don't fully understand chip manufacturing. Both equally possible scenarios. Later on Twitter, MicroBT snuck out that they're also releasing the M53, which can hit 226 terahash. Now we're talking. I think that thing's hydro-cooled. Well, that was my day one. Afterwards, Chris and Oscar Jr. and I sat in South Beach traffic to go to some delicious Mexican place, which I have no picture of because apparently Chris throws away bad pictures from his phone. Day 2 is up next. That includes all the common people who only paid $1,000 to come see this conference. I'm planning a People of Bitcoin expose to display the distinct archetypes of Bitcoin enthusiasts as I see them.